Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. And today we're reacting to C Blue and Set to Trend, and the name of the song is No Ozone Part 2. Now, C Blue is a guy who is part of the K-Flock side of things in the Bronx Tale, basically the war in the Bronx. And he's got this video out. We're going to react to the video, and there's also some news about him. And then we'll be talking on the other side of the video about what's going on with him in the news. So, and it's kind of interesting, and it's kind of shocking at the same time. So without further ado, here's C Blue and Set to Trend with No Ozone Part 2.
Who else? Look. Yo, talk your fucking shit, nigga.
Now, when we hear the grrr, pa, 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 what do we know that is? That's murderous shit, is what that is.
Look. See, blow! They said that they spit it for me. Boy, where's you at? You know I'm outside with a whole lot of.
So, right off the bat, we've got a bloody lens cap, or bloody lens, and you're all smoking on dead fellas.
Boy, where's you at? You know I'm outside with a whole lot of. Gotta keep me a strap, no dyke, cause these niggas.
Gotta keep me a strap, no dyke. I assume that's a reference to a strap on, and that he's not a lesbian. I, on the other hand, I am a lesbian.
Plan on taking my life, you know I won't go like Rick. So one fool's movie get turned to a spliffy and say he got lied by bitch. He thought he was fuck.
If you watch this in context and know what's going on behind the scenes, in the Bronx between these groups, I'm assuming Rick is one of the opposite. I won't go like Rick. It's all this bravado, all this, badass, I'm going to kill you before you kill me bullshit.
Seen Crips and I heard they want smoke with the stars. Try pass me the torch, let's go make it lit. I came with the rock, I don't need no assist. You know I'm the truth with a whole lot of Crips. Can't go out like Rick, gotta walk with the stick. Say you back on the court like you melt.
He thought he was fucking a TC Crips, and I heard they want to smoke with the stars. They do rock with the Crips, so that's the side that they roll with.
Stop it, talk with your ripper, what happened to your roll? TNT, know I'm smoking explosive. Think that I'm lacking, but I got the post. Don't got the gun, you get poked up like what?
Thinking I'm lacking. You know what that lacking is when you're not strapped. You shouldn't be lacking, but you shouldn't be packing either if you have a record. And we'll talk about more of his charges later, but he's got many pending charges.
Tough, but you gotta show it. Got the bristle, now it's time to roll up. Popping these breakies, little hurry, I'm rolling. Feeling on the press on
See, now we don't see any guns in the video, which is a good thing. And we do have some good graphics. I mean, so from that standpoint, it's interesting, right?
Nigga, it's a shame. Got booked, I ain't say no names. Who flame? I flame. Chopper put a nigga on a chain. Papa yellow to ease the pain. Catch me up, you won't see it today. Move.
Chop a fella to ease the pain. It's got a nice rhythm to it, but the thought behind it is sort of murderous, shall we say?
Got head is Fiji. Set the trend, know your man wanna beat me. Hollows hit him, they come in 3D. All these bitches, they reaching, they greedy. You get shot if you think I'm a peewee.
I don't think he's a peewee. Okay, I think he is 6'4", 300 pounds, a badass. I don't think he's a peewee.
If you think I'm a peewee,
he really doesn't want anybody to think he's a peewee. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know what a peewee is. But, I mean, maybe it's a little guy, or maybe it's pussy whipped. I don't know. But I don't think he is one, just so we're clear.
You get shot reaching for my chain. Mention AJ Rip, now you me and Kane. Gotta chill, gay Sabby.
Not gonna reach for your chain. Don't want to get shot.
out. Say everything that's so crip, I start spazzing out. Need a mail, won't stop till I reached it. Fuck those bitch, but we kept it a secret. She like, see, boy, I like how you thinking. Poured up some amigos, now she tryna eat it. Head from the front, gotta feel like a seat. Don't want me.
Fucked on this bitch, but we kept it a secret. She like, see, Blue, I know how you thinking. Poured up some Migos, now she's trying to eat it. So I think what he means by that is, you know, like Pac-Man on his penis.
We clean them. What you know is us ain't no other. Lock to the hell and they ducking for cover. I ain't curry, I don't shoot from D. Walked out, can't leave his brains on the seat. Bought a new glass that she can't.
And then you get these like death faces that they show, which are I think they're pretty effective. They're pretty eye-catching. But you know, they talk a lot about, you know, your ops and two things: killing men, killing other guys, and women, and how the women are just kind of nothing. You know, I'm out of your league, so he says.
Beam. No, I can't miss, all I shoot is green. Hit the 85 when I'm on the scene, one step.
So bought a new Glock. This shit came with a beam, you know, laser beam. Now, here's the thing. If you got pending charges and you're coming out with a new song and it says, I bought a new Glock, and you're on release for a gun charge, it's not a good fact that's in your background.
Making sure the lean. Blue lights on me, I don't stop for speed. Might do the old dash cause I'm off a beam. Hey, you know I'm outside with a whole lot of gas. I might be a rapper, but you know I can't act like. Trey, pass me the torch, let's go make it lit.
Okay, so now that was the song from C Blue and Set to Trend. What do we know about what's happened recently? Well, New York City this is according to the New York Post. New York City rapper charged with shooting NYPD cop shows off guns, boasts in YouTube videos. Here's the thing. He got picked up for shooting at a cop. He got picked up for shooting at a cop. Let me tell you what cops hate more than anything else. It's cop killers. And they'll do anything to nail a cop killer, okay? Or somebody that shoots at a cop, because they take that shit personally. You think that this young guy is going to be safe on the streets? You know, and then you put out this stuff. So, and he doesn't talk about cops in here, which is a good thing. But let's talk about it. The YouTube, and I'm just going to read part of the story to you. In one clip posted in October, Williams previewed a new song, Blue Bop, while showing off his gun in his waistband. What do we say about that? A form of self-snitching. And threatening adversaries looking at it, for him to come get me. He then hops in the passenger seat of a car as an alleged killer behind the wheel, and that's what the video shows. You know I ain't bluffing. I dare you to try me, C Blue boasts in the clip, which has been viewed nearly 30,000 times. A lot of views. So, and as we just saw in No Ozone Part 2, bought a Glock with this shit came with a beam, referring to the type of sight that it has. You know, and then you can see him here. He's you know, it posts on Instagram, holding a bunch of cash, flipping the camera off. So here's the thing. Here's what's really pissing off a lot of people. Williams, meanwhile, remains free on Friday after posting a $250,000 bond. He was earlier in custody at a Brooklyn juvenile facility on a gun and assault charge in January 18 shooting of a New York Police Department cop in Belmont. A Bronx Supreme Court justice determined Williams was eligible for bail, riling NYPD union officials over this disgraceful release. The individual chose to carry illegal guns twice, an NYPD Benevolent Association Patrick Lynch said. He chose to fight with and shoot a New York City police officer. There's no reason to believe he won't do the same exact thing when he gets out on the street tonight. Here's the thing. He better hope he doesn't have any interactions with cops. He just, I mean, it is just absolutely, they're incensed. And they'll know who he is. He already has a 2020 gun possession arrest on his record and was put on probation in the case just 1 month prior to his arrest with his run of the law. Police said Williams was arrested earlier this month while refusing to take his hands out of his pockets, setting off a scuffle with cops that led to him striking the NYPD officer Kasim Pennant in the leg and wounding himself in the groin. Williams declined to comment to a Post reporter after walking free Thursday, but his attorney says some pretty interesting things. She told the press Friday, "This is it. He's not a tough guy. This is just an act. This is his image. That's just his rap persona," defense attorney Dawn Florio said. "That's just to sell records. He's not a violent person." The rapper signed a deal with a subsidiary of Interscope Records in November, according to Florio, who declined to divulge how much he received. She denied earlier reports that Williams used some of his advance to get out of jail, claiming the funds were put up by relatives who works as a registered nurse. That's distancing the record company from the crime. That he wants to pursue a college education and be a biochemist, Florio told the Post. He definitely wants to pursue music, but he wants to continue his education by going to college. Williams is now being homeschooled, Florio said. The rapper has planned to use an advance in his contract to post the $15,000 of cash needed to secure his bond, law enforcement source told the Post last week. So you got a difference of what they think happened there in terms of the bond. But on a $250,000 bond for shooting a cop is really low, especially when you've got another gun case sitting out there. I have a case right now where my client is accused of a murder 3 that's giving somebody drugs and them dying. His bill's $5 million. $5 million. He's got no record at all. Now, do I give a shit what his bail is? I kind of don't care. I mean, but it is interesting to know how little the bail is. And the mayor actually came out with a statement, and they really shouldn't do that. But, it's a political office, and, they feel like they have to get out there. But you don't want to be construed as to putting your weight on the scale of justice. The judiciary is supposed to have an independent view, but $250,000 is really low for somebody who took a shot at a cop. So this has been our reaction to Sea Blue and Set to Trend, No Ozone Part 2. And when he's sitting there, the video is pretty good. But the conduct, it's like you'll have to live up to the hype. And when you live up to the hype, guess what? You wind up getting fucked by the judicial system. So this is the ultimate in self-snitching. Not to mention the fact that he's 16 years old. And when he got his prior case, I don't know how old he was, but it had to be 15 or 14. And if you're doing this violent stuff and you don't have any respect for law enforcement, believe me, I like to kick a cop's ass just like anybody else, but on the stand. And I love doing that. But you got to have respect on the street for the cops. You just do, because you're not going to win. And then all of a sudden you shoot at one of them, they're going to shoot back, and they're not going to miss. So I hope nothing happens to him. I hope he just continues to make music, and I hope he pursues his career in biochemistry. Because what do I say? Build your education, build everything you got. But if he's out on the street, these New York cops are not going to fucking play around. This is Bruce Rivers, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Make some comments, because we want to know what you think. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. This is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, coming to you with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks, very graciously given to me as a birthday gift by our content genius, Michael Rivers. Today we're reacting to a little bit of Better Call Saul, and this is kind of going to be a whimsical episode, and I'll give you a couple of war stories. But before we do that, this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com. eSign.com is an effective way to remotely do business. Let's say your grandma's in a nursing home. You're there at the nursing home with her. You don't have the documents, so you can't just go like this with grandma's hand, right? Because she's unconscious. And grandma's wealthy. So what you do is you call the lawyer and say, can you e-sign a document to me? You download the app and you get 3 free signatures a month. And then you send the document over, you e-sign it, and before you know it, everything's good. I use it all the time for retainers, but you can use it for just about anything. eSign.com, very effective way to get business done quickly. Okay, let's talk about Better Call Saul. I've seen the comments all the time, Better Call Bruce. Love it. I love it. I fucking love it when you guys say that. Better Call Bruce. Here's the difference between me and Saul. Saul, I first of all, I love the show. So first of all, let's just talk about Bob Odenkirk, who I just absolutely love. He was a writer on Saturday Night Live, and which has been my favorite show ever since I was 12 years old. He has got an incredible sense of timing. He's an incredible writer. I think he's a very good actor. And I just I wasn't a huge Breaking Bad fan. I didn't really start watching it until the end. And then, but I started watching every single episode of Better Call Saul. Why? Because I'm a lawyer. And I thought one of the funniest lines in the whole thing was when he got his law license and his brother said, giving you a law license is like giving a monkey a machine gun. So we're going to react to a scene, and we'll talk about some war stories.
In the court today?
Yes.
And could you point him out to the court, please?
There.
So first of all, that is very common. I mean, one of the key elements in any kind of criminal case is identity. Did you see the person who shot you? Yes, I did. Did you see him clearly? Where was that person? What was your view unobstructed? What did the person look like? Do you see that person in the courtroom? Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. And that's what they're doing here.
So that the witness has identified the defendant, Mr. Saki. Thank you, Mr. Harkness.
Your witness, Mr. Goodman?
Thank you for coming in today, Mr. Harkness. I just want to clarify a few things from your testimony, if that's...
So the lawyer that just asked the questions was obviously the prosecutor, and he's identifying the defendant. And now it's cross-examination. So, and generally you don't walk up to the witness like this. I mean, you either stay at counsel table or you're at a podium, one of the two.
Is that correct? Got in at noon, left at midnight. That's a long day. Good for you. Nothing wrong with a hard day's work. So you say, a man...
Nothing wrong with a hard day's work. I mean, you got this folksy style. You're relating.
Man, and he reached across the counter and, quote, he grabbed up the money from my register and run off.
Now, you see that? You got the jury on the one hand. I mean, the courtroom scene is super realistic. And even the questioning seems very realistic.
Yeah. And there was no one else in the store? Not at that time, no. And
this guy seems very credible. I mean, he's the store owner. He's there, and he sees the guy, and he identifies him. And so when you have a direct examination is open-ended. So what did you see next? And they tell a story. Cross-examination, you're testifying, basically. You're controlling with questions. So you make the witness just basically say yes or no.
And since the camera system wasn't working at the time, you're the only one who saw the perpetrator.
Yeah, I guess so.
This person came in and they bought something.
I think it was an Almond Joy.
They bought an Almond Joy. And when you rang them up, that's when they snatched the cash from the register. But you say you got a good look at them, correct?
Yes.
You must drink stronger coffee than I do, because after 11 hours on the job...
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
And it was dark out.
And he was right up in my face.
You feel confident that you can identify this person. That's what you're saying.
I can. Absolutely. It's him.
Are you sure that's the person? There's no doubt in your mind. And take your time.
You ready for the other shoe to drop?
I don't need time. That's him.
Now, would you be surprised to learn, Mr. Harkness, that the person you just pointed to is not the defendant?
What? So this is parlor tricks. And parlor tricks don't really go over too well.
What?
And my client is in the back of the courtroom. Mr. Saki, would you please stand up?
Objection.
Now, the person you ID'd is named Hollis Early. He's a bartender down in Berlin. He has a very good alibi for the night in question.
Your Honor.
Mr. Goodman.
Objection.
Oh, Mr. Goodman. Really?
You didn't recognize him either, Your Honor.
All right, settle down.
Now, honestly, that would probably be grounds for a mistrial. You'd have to start all over again. A judge probably wouldn't take too kindly to that. But it makes for great TV because it's like, oh, I guess he didn't really know who he was. But my guess is that unless you found somebody that was that close of a match, the judge would know that that's not the defendant sitting in the chair. And so when you do stuff like that, I mean, first of all, let's analyze that in terms of professional responsibility. You have a duty to render candor to the court. And so you're not being honest by having somebody else you're perpetuating a fraud, really, trying to make people believe that that's your client sitting in the defendant's chair, when really your client is in the back of the courtroom. So my guess is that, it does skirt the ethics quite a bit, and it would be grounds for a mistrial, I would think, but I've never seen that happen. I can tell you one thing though. I did have this happen in court, and this was fucking hilarious. So, and I don't want to say it was hilarious too much because the person that the prosecutor will be watching this, I'm sure. So I'm trying a case. It's a murder case, and the guy is going to come in and say that my client admitted to doing the murder, which they didn't really need anyway because we weren't disputing that my client shot the other guy because it was a gun battle between two people, and whether he was there and shot wasn't an issue in the case. But she gets this guy, and the guy says, I'm not going to testify. I'm really afraid, and I'm not going to testify. And the judge says, well, you've been responsive to the subpoena. But you're here and you have to testify. Are you afraid to testify? Yes, I'm very afraid to testify because of this kind of case. Okay, well, if you're not going to testify, I'm going to hold you in contempt, but I'm going to keep you in jail until either the end of this trial or until you testify. And the judge actually could have put him in jail for 30 days, but he was sympathetic to him. And so he goes into jail. That lasted all of maybe an hour and a half because, clanging door therapy has a way of having an effect on people. He gets out of jail. He comes back into the courtroom, and he decides to testify. He gets on the stand, and what's your name? Were you at a party on June 11th, 2009? Well, yeah, I was. Did you see somebody named Chu at the party? Well, yeah, I saw Chu. Now here I'm thinking, wait a second. She's never. I remember the discovery. The police reports about this witness. She never had him identify him, like in a photo lineup or anything. So I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. Yeah, I saw Chu at the party. What did Chu tell you? Well, he told me he did the murder. And then he says, well, do you see Chu here in the courtroom? No, he ain't here. The reason he decided to testify is because all of a sudden he realized he didn't know anybody in the courtroom. So, however, he got, into this situation where they thought this was the right Chu, totally backfired on him. And the prosecutor was just beside herself. And then when the jury came back with a not guilty, she stands up and just storms out of the courtroom, all pissed off. That is a great moment. And then the judge let him go directly from the courtroom. A lot of times they have to take him back and process him, and the judge says, no, I'm not going to authorize that. I have no hold on this defendant, so I am not going to authorize you taking him back to jail. He can leave right from here. And that's what he did. And that's just awesome, because that's the law. You don't have a hold on him. So I've lost jurisdiction once they said not guilty. So I just love Better Call Saul. Some of the things he does are so ingenious. That Gil, the director of this and Breaking Bad, I think he's just fantastic, and the writing is so clever. But as you remember, Saul, as he gets on later in life and gets in with the cartel and starts taking a lot of money from the cartel, all of a sudden really gives the government a reason to fuck with him. And that is not what you want to do. Wise lawyer always said, if somebody's got to go to jail, make sure it's the client and not you. So this has been our reaction to Better Call Saul with a war story mixed in. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers. Make sure you subscribe. If you don't subscribe, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we don't create this great content. So, and this is just kind of a whimsical episode. So if you have any kind of other ideas from Better Call Saul that you want to see me react to, or other movies, or any other ideas related to this kind of content, we're all ears, because we want to make sure you guys, your needs are met. This is Bruce Rivers again. Subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
I know people who get more time for stealing bubble gum. I'm just completely disappointed in this complete process, actually.
Mr. Taylor, you may take your seat if you wish to stay.
Okay, now, you're not supposed to record yourself in court. And you can see he just took a fucking selfie with... I'm really disappointed in this whole process. Oh, by the way, here I am in court, and Blueface is probably right behind him. So I'm sure he probably got his face and then Blueface right behind him.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with my 24-karat gold sharks and our content genius, Michael Rivers. Today we're reacting to Blueface, and there's kind of some things going on with this that kind of will have a practical import in your life if you're facing any kind of criminal charges, which hopefully you're not. But before we get into Blueface, let's talk about eSign.com, because this is brought to you by eSign.com. It's a very effective way to remotely do business. Say you have a contract that you need to have signed because you just got done in court and you got probation when you really were charged with attempted murder. Well, you all of a sudden now you're a free man. You get new record deals, so you download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month, and you can send out contracts to anybody you want. And you can get signature after signature after signature. You don't have to even leave the comfort of your own cell or home front, whatever. I use it all the time. eSign.com is a very easy and effective way to remotely do business. You can get agreements signed like that. Blueface now was charged in Las Vegas with a shooting, and he was originally charged with attempted murder. We kind of go into this on using a firearm and when you can use it and when you can't. You can't just willy-nilly shoot somebody or shoot at somebody or try to make a point. So we had this attempted murder case with Blueface, right? This happened last October 2022. He struck a deal, and the deal called for probation this last summer, and it said that it was a probation-only sentence. So it means he's got a 2 to 5 year prison sentence hanging over his head, suspended. That's what suspended means. As long as he doesn't do anything stupid while he's on probation or violate his probation, he'll never have to do that time. So this was a whole beef outside the club because this guy recognized Blueface in the club and said he was driving some kind of cheap vehicle or talking to his women, whatever. Just stupid. I mean, it's really a big bad decision over nothing. So he's going to get a felony on his fucking record over a slight. And that's how a lot of these things happen. So let's take a look at what happened in court. We'll react to what happened in court.
Good morning, Your Honor. So the court has properly reiterated the terms of the negotiation. I think since Mr. Ports went into some of the detail, I think it's important for the court to have some context and understand why this negotiation is the way it is.
So that's important because, you know, you can have an agreement with the other side, but if the judge doesn't accept the agreement, you know, because the judge has got to rubber stamp this shit. And so if the judge doesn't agree with your deal, the judge can toss the plea, and then you're headed to trial.
While it is certainly true that Mr. Traylor was involved in a fight with people at the strip club, Mr. Porter was not involved in that fight. And what happened later was Mr. Traylor went to his vehicle and then drove very slowly up to a group of people who he felt had aggrieved him.
That can be an anonymous thing when you are sliding up to your ops.
In the fight, and rolled down his window and displayed a firearm, causing other people to jump back, and then he sped into a group of people, ended up hitting a woman and hitting other cars, and then took off, and
Then why didn't you go to trial? It sounds like a self-defense or defense of others.
that's at the moment when the conduct from our client occurs.
And sometimes what'll happen is, you know, I kind of like it better sometimes when they don't make an offer and it's just, you know, let's go to trial. There's no decision to make. But when they all of a sudden offer you probation and no jail, and they might even offer to reduce it to a misdemeanor, it's very difficult to not take a deal under those circumstances.
So while I'm not here to minimize it in any way, it's dangerous, there is no doubt, but there is a lot from Mr. Traylor that led up to this, and I think the court should also be aware Mr. Traylor is suing Mr. Porter, the nightclub. The nightclub is being sued by the woman who got hit by Mr. Traylor. I mean, there is a lot of moving parts here, but then Mr. Traylor met up with friends over at Town Center in a parking lot, didn't call the police. He was in his employer's work truck.
You know, I think she already put it into context. You got to be careful when you blame the victim at a sentencing hearing. You just, because you can go overboard, and if the judge isn't with you on that, you can get hammered. I had one case where I had a client, he was being attacked by this kid, you know, in his 20s, and my client was in his 50s, just a big oaf, and he was being attacked. And he runs away from his own trailer. This is in a trailer park. And he runs across the street. His dad starts fighting with him. His dad starts chasing him into the street. And, I mean, he's running away. And he pushes him, and a fucking car runs over him. Now, in that case, you know, I talked very little about the victim, but the judge blasted the victim. Where the victim is the aggressor, that is a big deal. And that is quite a mitigating factor.
And he must have realized the next day that he needed to explain why he got into an accident and hit these other cars in his employer's work truck, and only then did he decide to make a police report. And he did have some kind of a graze wound on his hand. And again, no one here to minimize that. I think the court needs to understand that there's a dynamic here. I think because of the civil litigation, Mr. Porter's probably going to opt not to address the court.
So when you are getting sentenced, you have the right of allocution. Allocution is where you basically express remorse and so in an effort to, I mean, he's already made an admission, but in an effort to minimize the damage that he might suffer on a civil side of things, because they can use anything he says in this court in the civil context. Probably best for him not to say anything.
The negotiation is reasonable given the circumstances of this case. The other incident that Mr. Ports references has to do with taking a cell phone from a woman, and that is who was filming him, and the woman was actually punched by a female colleague of Mr. Porter's. But again, not trying to minimize.
And what that part is about, in June of this year, he was charged with a robbery case for taking that woman's phone. You know, which might have been overblown because it sounds like, you know, it was just a fan who was screwing with him and he was just trying to stop the harassment. And what they did is you pleaded this, we'll dismiss that case, and that's what they did in this case. They dismissed the robbery case.
In here to minimize, we came in here to say that
How many times did you hear us say we're not going to minimize? Generally, when somebody says they're not doing something, they're probably doing it.
He does live in California and will be seeking interstate compact transfer.
That's just transferring your probation from one area to another.
We believe that an underlying sentence of 12 to 36 months is appropriate versus...
So basically what she's saying is suspend 12 to 36, and we know that the judge suspended 2 to 6.
The strip corridor ended at Sahara.
I did too, and that's why I was curious to see if there was a separate order related, because I think what the focus is if he's going to be interstate compacting, obviously,
right.
Limited issue there.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen a green robe. Robes, the judges, they wear the robes as a ceremonial thing because they're the only ones in court that wear a robe. And they're usually black. That's the first time I've ever seen a green robe.
I just don't think that the traditional order out region covers downtown.
But he's not otherwise seeking to not
Basically, what she's saying is that, a restriction on where you can go.
have the order out or be employed in those areas or anything like that.
We're not opposing it. He doesn't live here, and it's fine, and that's fine.
Now, this is really boring, isn't it? I mean, this is just kind of a boring sentencing hearing. But think about it. The decision, and maybe the decision to fire that weapon at that particular time might have seemed like the right thing to do. But let's say he's at a club, and let's say he's been drinking. If you're drinking, guess what? You got a concealed carry. It invalidates your concealed carry. You can't drink and use your concealed carry at the same time. Secondly, put yourself in one of the things that's difficult for these guys is that they're celebrities, right? So they get recognized. I get recognized, but I'm not like this. And you wind up getting yourself into different situations because of your celebrity status. So even though this is a boring this is the government interfering with somebody's life by virtue of their conduct. You let the government into your life. Now you're on probation. Now they can tell you where to live, what to do, how to do it, whether you are working, whether you're going to travel or not. You got to get permission for that. Sometimes you have to remain sober and do UAs. And it's just to have a probation officer crawling up your fucking ass. Do you really want that? You know how you don't get that? You make good decisions.
Ms. Reporter, is there anything that you would like to say on your own behalf today? I appreciate that you have the other matter pending, but it's up to you entirely. This is your opportunity to say something, but you're certainly not. Okay. Ms. Reporter's going to decline to.
So you don't have to make a statement, and the judges generally don't make much if somebody doesn't make a statement. Sometimes they want to hear hear remorse. I'm not hearing any remorse from you, Mr. Blueface. Generally speaking, if you don't make a statement, it's not that big a deal, but it does sometimes help if you do.
To speak on his own behalf today.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I forgot. Ms. Wildebelt is reminding me. There's one thing in the PSI that's not accurate.
Okay.
In the criminal history, it shows that there was a restraining order. That was dismissed.
Which page are we looking? 3 or 4?
What they're referring to is a pre-sentence investigation. So after a plea or a conviction, you generally meet with probation. They do a report for the judge that contains all your family history, just everything about you and about the offense. And so that's what she's talking about, just correcting an error there.
That restraining order was dismissed in August.
All right, it looks like it just had, when they found that the original expiration term, they were not aware that it had been dismissed.
Right,
I did not
yeah.
rely on that.
So one of the things that also happens, and we've gone over this a little bit before in other videos, is victim impact. So the victim has a right, and there are victim rights laws that require, that the state give the victim a forum, a chance to speak their piece.
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your full name, spelling your first and last name for the record.
Kentavious Trailer, Kentab as in boy, IUS, last name Trailer, Traylor.
And Mr. Taylor, what is your testimony today for the court?
So first of all, I just want to start by saying thank you, Judge. I'm just completely disappointed in this complete process, actually. From the DA to his representation to him to everything. It's just all been a complete drop of the ball on my end.
What does he want? I mean, if he really did pull up with a gun, he fucking deserves everything he had coming. You don't do that. Especially not at a strip club where you're supposed to just celebrate, the scantily clad ladies.
Complete lost faith in the justice system. This crime has done nothing but take a toll on my life since the day it happened. I haven't been able to get work. Everything has gone down the drain. I just feel like this has not been done on my case. This hasn't been done on my behalf. I know people who get more time for stealing bubble gum, honestly. I know people who do more time for stealing TVs than they do for shooting somebody.
So one of the issues that the state probably wrestled with I'm sure, is the idea of self-defense. If he's rolling up with a gun, and he was in a fight earlier, so he's got a beef with somebody, and he shows up with a gun, there is an ostensible claim of self-defense. And if the state thinks that they're going to lose their case, they're going to negotiate, and that's what that reflects.
I'm just completely disappointed in all of this. I hate the way my name was ridiculed in the social media before I could even find out about it. Like I said, just this complete process has been a complete drop of the ball. Yeah.
Social media ridiculing your name, how does that get out there? You're the one, first of all, you're the one fucking suing him, so you're putting yourself out there. Second of all, you look pretty able-bodied to me. How do you lose work from something like this? I mean, you're not showing up in a fucking wheelchair. And and I don't mean to badmouth a victim here, but he's not a blameless victim.
That's all I got to say about it. It's a complete drop of the ball, and that's it. It is what it is.
And Mr. Trailer, I really appreciate you expressing the frustrations that you have, and I know that the outcome here today won't change that, because what the negotiation is has a certain range of sentence and a certain
but
aspect
even that, like I said, I feel like those terms and conditions, I know myself included, would have more than that for domestic violence, for this or that. He has this.
Of course you would. Okay, are you saying you should have gotten less on your domestic violence case? I mean, putting your hands on a woman, you should get a little harsher sentence. This is a situation where you got mano on mano, gun on gun, and the state could have lost their case. And so they didn't want to roll the dice at trial, so they made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
I want to go over multiple states, multiple this, multiple that. You guys are arguing semantics on, can he come here to make money? And so he doesn't deserve to be here. He doesn't deserve to be out and walking around. He doesn't deserve any of that, honestly. But because he has a little bit of money and a little bit of a name, you guys are going to give him that, and that's okay. But just at the end of the day, like I said.
And you ain't got no money. You ain't got no name.
I just want to say my piece, and like I said, I'm completely disappointed in all of this.
Understood. Mr. Triller, and I'm not trying to convince you anything otherwise, and I'm not having a dialogue with you here. I'm just trying to give you the wrap up here that we are going to conclude this case. It sounds like you have another process pending. So
but that has nothing to do with how I feel about this in general.
Again, not a dialogue. I'm just sharing some information with you.
So the judge is basically saying, shut the fuck up. It's not a dialogue here. I am the judge, and I'm speaking.
Okay? I understand that. I'm not trying to convince you of anything different. I'm trying to tell you that we're going to complete this process here today. To the extent that it closes out this process, good or bad, obviously bad from your perspective, it will close it out. And I hope that you'll use the other process to find whatever relief it is that you are seeking, and not meaning whatever I presuppose any outcome there, but just that there is another avenue. And the court is going to act within the parameters of what it has here and bring this matter to a close. But I can assure you, I'm not giving anybody any breaks because of any status they have or money they have. I'm working within a system and within a negotiation, and I trust my counsel to make negotiations for reasons, and I appreciate that that's not going to sit well with you. I just thank you for your time here today and letting us know how you feel about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's important.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. You may take your seat if you wish to stay.
Okay. Now, you're not supposed to record yourself in court. And you can see he just took a fucking selfie with. I'm really disappointed in this whole process, and oh, by the way, here I am in court, and Blueface is probably right behind him. So I'm sure he probably got his face and then Blueface right behind him. I'm sure that's what that was, and that probably wound up on social media. So you talk about, Mr. I'm disappointed in the process. I'm here to fuck the process up. Yeah. See. Blueface is right behind him, so he takes a selfie. I guarantee he did that on purpose. You can be found in contempt of court for that, and which is a separate crime. And if it happens right in front of the judge can give you 30 days without a jury, without a trial or anything.
The court will proceed with the sentencing of Mr. Porter, and as per negotiations, we will go ahead. I'm going to give an opportunity of probation.
And there's generally signs outside the courthouse that says no cameras and no recording devices allowed.
To Mr. Porter, same discussion with you, Mr. Porter, that I had with another gentleman this morning. you are here and doing probation here, unless and until you are affirmatively approved, meaning given actual permission by the criminal probation department to travel out of state, whether it be a travel pass initially or your interstate compact, but you will have to be here doing your probation. And I'm going to go through the...
So he can't leave the state of Nevada without permission until his probation is transferred.
But the main point that I have for you here is the weapons, is the guns.
So that's the other thing. He can't own a weapon. He can't own a firearm. He can't own a dangerous weapon.
You know you cannot have guns. There's no confusion on that point. And if you choose to roll guns, then that's your choice. But I will tell you, if you get caught doing that, you get brought back here on any kind of probation violation, especially anything involving weapon, I will not hesitate to put you in prison for a significant period of time. You are playing with your liberty, your life, obviously, but you're playing.
Well, in addition to whatever, so he's got this time hanging over his head, right? And if he rolls, as she said, with a gun, and he gets busted with a firearm, two things happen. One, he gets charged with a new crime, and generally speaking, federally or otherwise, most states have a 5-year mandatory minimum for felon in possession of a firearm. Secondly, then he's also looking at, the time that's hanging over his head, the 2 to 6 years. So he could really wind up screwing himself if he decides to not straighten up and fly right without firearms.
With your liberty, if you're going to have guns and do anything that's going to violate your probation in that regard. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want there to be any confusion. I hear people who say things about, I didn't realize I couldn't, do this or that or have pictures with them or whatever. No, 0 guns around you where you are of any kind. And that needs to be quite clear. His underlying sentence will be a minimum of 24, maximum of 60 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections, suspended with probation not to exceed 36 months. He will have to be...
You're not supposed to talk that fast as a judge because the court reporter's fingers start smoking and she's trying to keep up with the judge. Just so a word to the wise. Nothing good happens after midnight. You're rolling with a firearm. If you're rolling with and if you have a concealed carry, it's invalidated by alcohol. Remember that. And you know what? If you're partying at home and you're just chilling, probably not going to be in this situation. Walk away from a fray. That's actually a good phrase. Walk away from an affray, because you can always live to fight another day. And sometimes you have to take your matters into your own hands in the sense if you're being attacked. And he's getting off fairly lightly. I mean, although when you think about it, a felony in your record, probation, that's still punishment. You're still letting the government control a good chunk of your life. Blueface, if you're out there, probably a good idea not to post any more naked pictures of your children. that just is sort of a self-snitching kind of deal, and nothing good can come from that. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you sign up for Patreon, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with my pearl-handled pistol cufflinks, and are given to me so graciously by our content genius, Michael Rivers, who's sitting behind the camera looking handsome as hell, and he is just the most awesome son a guy could have. And just so you know, our content genius, Michael Rivers, he shoots it, he edits it, he creates it, we collaborate on the content, and basically he's my boss. So when you see me out here, it's all a result of the content genius, Michael Rivers. So hats off to him. So today we're reacting to a councilman arrested after allegedly smoking crack and passing out in his car after court. When you're in your car and you're near the courthouse, probably not a good idea to do some crack. Just probably not. But before we get to this video, which I'm kind of excited to do because I haven't seen it and Michael thinks it's cool, so it's got to be. This is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com, a very effective way to remotely do business. So let's say that you're a councilman and you're smoking crack in your car and all of a sudden you get fucking busted. Then guess what happens? You need to do a couple things. One, you need a bond. because you're going to get arrested. And you also need power of attorney probably so somebody can do some work on your behalf. You might even need to send something into the council to either resign or whatever, and you can do it remotely. You can do it with eSign.com. You download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month, and all of a sudden, guess what? You don't have to go anywhere. You can just sit and do crack in your basement. But here's the thing. It is something that I use all the time to remotely do, send retainer agreements out. You can use it for just about anything, rental agreement or any kind of document that needs a signature, e-sign it. Because if it's not e-sign, no one signs. So let's get right to this because, and here's the thing, it's not really funny to joke around about somebody who has a crack problem, but seeing a white city councilman who typically have arrogance going out their ears, there's some poetry about that.
Literally choking in your sleep. Somebody flagged me down about it.
Oh, I have sleep apnea. I'm sorry.
Oh, and you have a crack.
I have sleep apnea, sorry, especially when I do crack.
A city councilman in Cranston, Rhode Island faces a drug charge after a police officer finds him sleeping in his car with a crack pipe in his hand.
So that's 2 crimes. Number 1, if it's got some residue on it, it's possession of a controlled substance. Number 2, it's possession of drug paraphernalia. Now here's the thing. I drink alcohol from time to time. Not in excess, but and I can understand it. What I really don't understand are drugs. Drugs are very difficult for me to understand because it takes my money, takes my freedom, and takes my health, but I have to have more of it. And sometimes it just gets a hold of some people and doesn't let go. I see this every day. And if it weren't for drugs and alcohol and bad decisions, I wouldn't have a job.
You can see Riley sleeping.
Okay. It looks like he's got some sleep apnea going on, doesn't he? Oh. And your heart breaks for some people like that because at least he's got his seatbelt on. Let's just give him that.
His mouth wide open as the officer approaches. Riley has a lighter and a pipe in his hand.
He's got the crack pipe in his hand. If you're going to be that guy, try to be a little more clever about it instead of just nodding off and passing out in your car after doing some crack.
The officer rouses him from his sleep.
Do you have any weapons on you?
No, not at all.
Oh, looks like that's not a good position for a councilman to be in.
112. Yeah.
All right.
Road's open, Boston.
You gotta stop. Try not to. Oh, no way, dude. Really?
Yes.
Oh, no way, dude. Really? You just found out he was like a city councilman.
Yes. I was just on my way back from court.
I was just on my way back from court. I'm just fucked up. I'm a little bit. And his heart has just got to be pounding out of his chest right now.
Well, arrest is gonna come check you out, man. I can't let you go. You were literally choking in your sleep. Somebody flagged me down about
sleep apnea. I just have sleep apnea.
I have sleep apnea. I'm sorry.
Well, and you have a crack pipe in your hand, so it's like.
Well, yeah. Whenever I hold a crack pipe, I get sleep apnea. Fuck.
Wait, sorry.
Listen.
I'm sorry. I was doing crack in your parking lot. I'll go do crack by a park with some kids. Okay.
I have a body camera. Obviously, everything I have is recorded. You know that, and what I've observed is on camera, so I can't pretend I
can't unsee it.
So a rescue's gonna come here, and they're gonna check you out. As far as I know, there's no drugs anywhere, so I can't.
Well, there's residue on the crack pipe, and that residue is possession of a controlled substance.
Also, there's not a criminal investigation. There's more health or well-being.
Yeah, just want to make sure that, your crack level is just enough so you can enjoy it, but not too much so you don't know what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I obviously have to document it, You can have that back.
Thank you. So will we no arrest?
What?
There will be no arrest?
No. Is there any...
Boy, I think his bowels just dropped because, oh, good, I'm not getting arrested.
Are there any drugs in the car or anything like that?
No, nothing.
No, I did them all. No, they're inside me now.
The officer questions Riley about his drug use. He's forthcoming and discusses struggling with addiction.
And here's the thing. Do we want somebody to get help or put him in jail? Somebody like this. Probably get him help, right? I mean, he's a hapless drug addict who is wearing a tie and works for the city.
How long have you had this problem, man?
It was a relapse. I've been clean for 13 years.
And a lot of times, anything can trigger a relapse, you know, like stress, you know, like an end of a relationship or being encountered by law enforcement while you have a crack pipe in your car. I mean,
Just went through a really, really bad divorce recently.
Okay.
Notice he's not searching his car right away and putting him in handcuffs and putting him in the back of his squad. Guess what? If he was black, I guarantee you that's where the fuck he'd be.
Do you know?
This is what we call, you know, and I don't really like using this word, but this is exactly what this is. This is white privilege right here, for sure.
If any of that was laced with fentanyl or anything, because you were out, and like looked like you were choking.
Really?
Yeah.
But in my sleep apnea does that to me, especially when I do crack.
Like somebody literally sprinted and flagged me down because they thought you were having a heart attack or choking.
No, not that I know of.
EMTs arrive to check out Riley as the police officers search his vehicle.
And all these EMTs are going to do is check his vitals, and that's it. What else are they going to do?
Which is littered with trash and junk. The officer found a chore boy scouring pad in the glove box. Chore boy is made of copper and metal. Drug users sometimes use a chore boy to make a crack pipe.
You got a test kit? Yeah. So, it's over here.
A second officer arrives. They approach the vehicle to test suspected drugs found in the car.
What's wrong with this guy? It's your whole life. Down the drain for what? So you don't know?
That's exactly right. You know, your whole life down the drain for what? You know, people who do drugs and do hard drugs like crack or whatever, they don't think rationally. You think they would. You know, you think, oh, I'm going to weigh this choice against that choice. It's a slippery slope, and they cut corners and do this and do that, and pretty far down the road, they're risking everything for that high, for that little bit of a high, and this is what happened here.
Doesn't know. I've never met him in my life. I'd probably dig out just a smaller little rock so we don't have to break anything.
If we get a little bit with the powder.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll try to do it.
No, I don't have any drugs in my car. Nope, no, nothing to see here. Just a little sleep apnea.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward.
So this is a NIC test. It's not necessarily super reliable, but it tells you right away what they're looking for.
Be careful, because he was on the nod, or like, it seemed like anyways.
It's mixed with something else, but...
Do you need this knife?
And here's the thing. When you're doing these kinds of drugs, and if it's laced with fentanyl and heroin have the same kind of suppression effect, where you have this natural tendency to breathe, and you nod off like that, then all of a sudden you just stop breathing, and that's how you die. You just stop breathing, and it's a peaceful death, really, because you're not struggling. But your natural, like if you're sleeping and you stop breathing for a second, you don't get any of that when you do these kinds of drugs. So in other words, it's a respiratory depressant.
Yeah, we use that.
Be careful with that stuff. I don't know if that's fentanyl laced or not. There's white all over there. He doesn't know.
Yeah, I was just telling him the same thing, because
So what he's talking about there is be careful with it, because it can, if you're not careful with it, we've seen videos where the cops are touching it and it gets into their system through their skin. So it's really a dangerous thing.
Completely, it's not an opiate.
Yeah.
No.
He claims he was tired and he may have sleep apnea, but I don't think that's gonna.
Especially like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, only climb a lot too. It's like you stick out like a sore thumb.
That's the other thing. When you are let's say it's after midnight and you're shit-faced drunk. Guess what? Take an Uber. Don't be the only one on the fucking road. It's just like this. I mean, you're a target.
Well,
Right away.
fentanyl.
Coke.
Yeah.
Crack. Pot for crack. I can test it for fentanyl too.
Test it for both, just to make sure that I don't know what we're dealing with.
Wait, can you just snap a picture of that?
Especially when you put him in a cell. You know, what?
The sergeant on scene tells the officers to charge Riley. Then they look at a white powder on his driver's seat.
He wants to have his mother come get the car, but I'm not gonna. No, not getting in there touching all that white powder. Is that's a piece of crack? Yeah, that's definitely crack.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, you can smell it, and he's burning up.
The other thing, when you're far down the road on addiction like this, a lot of things go away, like your personal hygiene, your, I bet his place where he lives is just a shithole. And you just let a lot of things go. You let everything go. And this guy, he has a good job, but for whatever reason, he's decided to go down this path.
He has a bunch of chore boy and.
Should we have a toad?
Looks like he's like half living out of his car.
That's
There's like
private property.
toiletries.
We're good. We're on private property. And this guy.
Yeah, look at this. He's got a problem. I'll do all the evidence stuff. Thank you. All right, so is rescue's good with him?
They're just finishing up right now. Okay.
So this is the end user, right? So we have a lot of this shit coming over the border, a lot of meth coming over the border, and a lot of fentanyl coming over the border from Mexico, and this is where it's going.
The Brillo and everything over there.
Yep.
You see it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all.
They're finishing up right now.
That was in his glove compartment.
The first officer on scene also removed a crack pipe from Riley's vehicle. Riley appears to be okay after leaving EMTs and talking to the officer.
Yeah, I know. It's not like have an option here, man. Sorry.
Guess they are going to arrest him after all.
You got anything on you? Anything you can't drink?
I got gloves on.
All right. There's stuff all over that car. Your mother gets in that car, I bet she sits in that, touches her face or mouth and goes down.
You know, I see it.
So, look.
No, I mean that.
Yeah, you don't know what you're buying.
Yeah.
Did you buy that today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
You don't, is the same guy you usually buy it from?
What's his name?
They're not all honest. No, I mean.
Once or twice.
Yeah, but whoever you buy it from, if you continuously buy it from them, you know who you're buying it from. You don't know what people are putting in it.
No, I understand.
You know, they may have made that.
And when I was a kid, my dad used to. He was a fireman, and I remember watching this video once, and he was telling us about drugs, and it was scared the shit out of us. So all along growing up, I've tried a little bit of pot, but I'm not a fan of it. It's not for me. But I've been way too afraid to try any hard drugs for what it would do to you personally and to what it would do to your life. For this reason.
That's a big rock you got in there. What's that, a $50 piece?
100.
100?
Yeah, I just got back into this thing.
Yeah, this is gonna, listen,
Look at that. This is a, you see the typical stereotype drug addict, and this does not look like it is. But it is. It absolutely is. I mean, you look at him in the supermarket, you wouldn't suspect this guy's on crack.
Situation, we're all in a tough spot, but we gotta do what we gotta do right by the numbers. It'll help you in the end.
And actually, sometimes law enforcement involvement is a good thing, because if he doesn't have a prior record, he'll probably have a way to keep this off his record if he gets clean and stays clean.
And I tell you, and you'll say to us a month from now, best thing that ever happened to me. That's what they all tell us. You can't go down this road anymore.
No.
God forbid we find you dead. That's terrible. You know what I mean? You were down in the car.
No, I didn't put it.
I had a case once. my client was alleged to have sold some heroin to two people. And one of them was the daughter for the mayor of a popular city of here in Minnesota. They're in front of a Burger King. And she dies right there in front of a Burger King from doing heroin. You know, you don't know what you're going to get, but you just stop breathing. And that's what happened to her.
Yeah. You gotta get on a program right away. I look at you, you're not the Matt Riley that we know. Trust me. And listen, your health and your well-being is worth way more than any political career.
Riley then expresses his concern about the media finding out about his arrest.
Gee, I hope the media doesn't find out about this. And see, you hear the concern that the cop has for this guy. That's where this battle is really won, is with compassion. This guy's worried about the cameras. He's worried about the media. Really, listen to the cop. And listen to the cop how he says, you know, people thank us all the time. Because law enforcement intervention in this probably saved his life. Because if he's out, and if that shit's got fentanyl in it, he could quit breathing right then and there. And all of a sudden, it only takes minutes. It only takes minutes to stop breathing before your brain dies from lack of oxygen, and then you're done.
Well, we don't report nothing to the media unless someone tells them. So, and then arrest records are public record. I'm not going to lie to you.
And that's the other thing. He's talking about kids. If you're in a divorce situation and you're doing drugs, guess what? You're going to have supervised visitation if you get visitation.
There's not much we can do on this. If I was in your situation, I'd be in handcuffs.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying don't rest.
Yeah.
In terms of media for the kids, as much. As
listen. We are only required to release what we release, and we won't. We have to release an arrest record by law. You know. All right, jump in before you. We just want to make sure we got to monitor you because you've taken in some fentanyl. All right. You've taken in some fentanyl, Matt, and that's we've got to make sure you may not feel it right now, but God forbid something happens to you.
Yeah, no, I've never done that.
Feel terrible about that, you know.
All for what? For not much.
I mean, you're not going to be there all day. You'll be in and out.
I'm going to keep your wallet with me. I have your phone already. You want me to throw this stuff in the car real quick?
Sure.
All right. Just step on in here. I'll buckle you up. Oh, wait.
Yeah, who's going to come get that car
This
out?
is a full cage.
What's that? Get in a second. Who's going to come get this car out, though?
I would.
Huh? I would. Listen, you got to clean the car out.
Hey, it's supposed to be going back in tomorrow. My car's getting fixed.
Oh, this isn't even your car?
No, it's a loan.
All right.
But, yeah.
All right.
It's not even his car, and he's got crack all over it.
I mean, there's all shit on the seat.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't joking. I have an appointment on 17th.
All right. I'll crack a window for you in a second.
Matthew Riley faces a drug possession charge. He's resigned from his position as chairman of Cranston's Republican Party, and he's in rehab.
That is a good example of how just an average, normal citizen who on the surface might look like he's got everything all together gets wrapped up in drug addiction. And drug addiction is no flippin' joke. I've seen it more than I can even talk about. So if you yourself are having any troubles with addiction, get some help. And get it now. Get it now before your health or your life is totally fucked up. So this has been our reaction to the councilman arrested for allegedly smoking crack in a parking lot. I don't suggest you do that. I suggest you stay clean. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers with our content genius, Michael Rivers. We'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Patreon, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. See you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm part of Bruce. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer, board-certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and by the Minnesota State Bar Association as a criminal trial and a criminal law specialist. This is what I do. I do it well, and I love doing it. Coming to you with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks, so graciously given to me by our content genius who's behind the camera, Michael Rivers. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have a channel at all. So today we're reacting to Andrew Tate's BBC interview. But before we get to that, let's talk about the gal who's living in my basement that I got. It's my grandma. You got your grandma living in your basement. She brings her gal pals over, and so I don't know if she's doing meth or not, but all I know is that she likes to be a little risque with her behavior, bringing her friends over. And let me just tell you, she's not smelling the greatest. And she's stinking out my basement. Well, guess what I've had to do? I've had to get on eSign.com to get her evicted out of there. So I had a lawyer draft it up, and they sent it to me. eSign.com says if not eSign, no one signs. And, you download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month. And we served Grandma, and Grandma's got another 2 weeks to get out of there. And you know what? It smells so bad. Oh, my God. Anyway, eSign.com. It's an effective way to remotely do business. I do it all the time. In my practice, not necessarily in my personal life, except for now that Grandma's methed out in my basement. So I can't go back there, and, it smells like cat piss. So I don't know if it's the cat or if it's Grandma, because everybody knows a methed out grandma smells like cat piss. So, but go to eSign.com, eSign.com, an effective way to remotely do business and get your grandma out of your basement, if that's, in fact, your problem, like mine. All right, so let's get right to it. Andrew Tate, the gift that keeps on giving. Guess what? I think it's by the 18th he's got to get tried, and he's going to trial here this month. That's the deadline. So he will have been under the watchful eyes of the correctional system in Romania for 6 months.
The BBC challenged him on whether his views about women broadcast to his millions of online followers harmed young people, as many teachers and police officers claim. Well, the interview...
So when you start out in a case, depending upon what the subject matter is, like if it's a child case, anything to do with the child, you're starting it out in a hole. Well, when you're starting out in an abuse case, abuse of process, abuse of women, sexual abuse, and I don't know if he's guilty or not. I'm not going to opine on that. But you're starting out in an overly charged environment, because who doesn't want to protect women? Who doesn't want to protect children? So that's where you start out.
Well, the interview, which had no set conditions, was Tate's first since being released into house arrest from police custody last month. Lucy Williamson reports now from Bucharest.
We are doing an interview with you because you're facing some very serious allegations.
Correct.
Rape, human trafficking.
Yep.
And also because there's a great deal of concern about the things you say.
Now, if I'm his lawyer, I don't know why he's doing this interview. I don't want any more out there than already is out there. And maybe there's just so much out there, that there's just, you can't contain it all. The last thing I want right before a trial is press. 0. Dark 30.
And the impact that they have on young people, on women.
I don't think the concern's about the things I say. I think the concern is for the level of influence I have and the reach I have.
Let's start.
It is, because I'm so beautiful.
Start with the allegations. Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not. The reach I have.
Let's start with the allegations. Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not.
Here's the thing. When you have, the first time I'd ever want him to answer any questions like this would be on the stand. And so it's disconcerting to a criminal practitioner to watch your client give a BBC interview. This has got no benefit. There's 0 benefit for him to do this. 0.
Have you trafficked anybody?
Absolutely not.
Of course he's going to say no.
Exploited any women for money?
Absolutely not.
Now remember, he's made all those videos where he makes all those admissions.
Girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. And they will leave if you don't have every aspect under control. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. You need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax because girls are lazy and girls are stupid and girls don't understand how taxes work. I used to pay my girls 30%. They thought they were on 50%, and I said that the disparity is because of taxes.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No. We have an open
No. He has admitted to that.
criminal investigation. I am absolutely and utterly sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't. I have seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't. I know the truth of what happened and you don't. And I'm telling you absolutely not.
One of the things you don't want to do in an interview is attack the messenger. A lot of people, when they don't really talk about the substance of the facts, they talk about, the person interviewing them or the person asking the questions.
I've never hurt anybody. That the case that's been put against me is completely and utterly fabricated, and I'm never going to be found guilty of anything. And it's very difficult for me to answer your in-depth questions because we're sitting here inside of the territory of Romania. I'm beholden to the Romanian legal system, and I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Let me read you then what you have said about what you have done.
Sure.
You have said...
See, that's the danger when you have... I don't know if she's prepared or not, but when you are answering things like this and it's not comport with what is on the record, you're getting impeached. This is classic impeachment.
My job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think...
You want to bet?
That's exactly what you said on your website.
No, I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it.
Your words.
And again, once again, if any female on the planet has a problem with me, I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges.
So what she's referring to there is the fact that on his either Hustle University, one of his promos, and she just lifted the text directly off that. So you heard that. You heard the answer to that question. Let's see exactly what he said, what he did say.
Going to leave. There's no way, I did this business for a long time. There's no such thing as having girls who work for you who you've not fucked. It's impossible. You have to fuck them and they have to love you. It's essential to the business because otherwise women have no loyalty. If you sit and say to a man, look, I'm going to show you how to make unlimited money on your computer from home and we're going to do it together. And after a few months he can do it on his own. He'll still sit there and go, yeah, but we started this together, so let's just stick at it together. He's showed me how. Without him, I wouldn't have any of this, so I'll give him his cut. Women don't think that way. Women don't have any loyalty like that. They'll think, oh, fuck him. I can do it without him. Now fuck him.
So what he's talking about there is the manipulation. You have to make them fall in love with you. You got to get the hook, the hook.
Women have sex with somebody. If they're not fucking you, they're fucking somebody else. Now, a woman's always going to be the most loyal to the guy she's fucking, as opposed to anyone else for any other reason. If you have a girl work for you and you say, look, we're going to be business partners, we're going to make money, here's your cut, here's my cut, we're going to work together, blah, 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 blah. Here's a fucking, I've had dudes, I've known loads of guys who've tried to do a contract with a girl, tried to sit there and talk common sense to a girl. When's the last time talking common sense to a girl has ever worked? Anyway.
Well, I've got female employees, and I talk common sense to them all the time. Guess what? I'm not fucking them, and my staff has been with me for over 20 years. I mean, this is just so appeals to this certain part of a man's ego. But here's the thing. When you look at that, what he says, and tell me that these aren't coming into evidence, because there's statements that he makes. They're coming into evidence. So let's see what else he has to say during the interview.
I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges. I'm actually such a nice person that I've never had anyone come at me.
The BBC has spoken to somebody since your arrest who says exactly those things, that with you it's all manipulation, there's an ulterior motive to everything you do.
Is this Sophie? Oh, it's Sophie, the fake name, no face.
I was so intent on wanting to please him and wanting him to be happy that I was just kind of, yeah, okay, do whatever you want.
And what is she accused? Has she accused me of a crime, this imaginary Sophie?
Now, I don't know who Sophie is. I don't know if she's imaginary or real. But this is why these interviews are just never a good idea. Because you don't think that the prosecutor is, you know, he gets up on the stand and you can say this and then this. And you can't do what he's doing in an interview on the stand or in a courtroom.
She's making the point that there is
Has she accused me of a crime?
Emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here, because I've allowed you into my house.
Oh, you're not the boss here. What the hell? This is you trying to get on BBC to get some positive press, or for you to get your message out there. And tell me he doesn't seem domineering in whatever.
I'm asking you the questions.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No, we're equal here. I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as legacy media, giving you relevance by speaking to you, and I'm telling you now.
And he really believes that. I mean, legacy media will be around long after he's imprisoned, if in fact he's found guilty.
This Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent her.
Of course not. And because you never invent anything. And she's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here? What is she saying?
We're talking about emotional manipulation into the sex industry for your financial gain.
Absolute garbage.
I'm describing
absolute garbage. But you saw the two videos we just played for you. But that's exactly what he's talking about there. I mean, he's constantly telling you, you need, in order to get loyalty and having them not branch out and have their own franchise of whatever they're doing, you need to have control, emotional, physical control.
Women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human
trafficking. Hasn't gone to court. Sophie doesn't exist.
I'm describing women who have spoken to the BBC at length.
Sophie doesn't exist.
And other media organizations about what they...
Notice she never said the name Sophie. And notice he really doesn't address the substance of what anything she says is. It's just attack back.
They say is emotional manipulation and coercion, and I'm quoting back to you your own words where you describe
they're not my words.
Coercion
they're words
and emotional manipulation.
We showed you there is words.
Words you found on the internet, and Sophie doesn't exist.
On your
so let's
website,
move on to the next subject.
in your voice.
Move on to the next subject.
No, I think I'll stick on this one for a minute. So there's other...
See, I mean, that's so combative. And the issue therein lies, why aren't you answering the question? Why move on to the next topic? You know, and there's zero benefit that can come from him doing this interview. It just baffles me. But when you are a manipulator, when you are in control of your domain, so to speak, you think you can control everything else. And in a court of law, it just doesn't help you to be that guy.
Other places in that same website where you say you get girls to fall in love with you and they do it because they love you, because they want to do what you say. Convincing women to take part in some kind of business arrangement doesn't work long term because they're emotional. You've got to get them to fall in love with you. That's coercion, that's emotional manipulation, that's abuse.
What you've found are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason I should...
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Then who is that guy? That must be AI, right? It must be some complete imposter. I just don't understand why he would do an interview like this. Because this is very juvenile, really, the back and forth. There's nothing substantive coming out of this.
Check my website. Next.
It's the website you've taken down, and I wonder why those comments have been taken down.
No website's been taken down. My website is the same, and it's been the same for a very long time. You are accusing me, I'm guessing, what you're trying to say is you're accusing me, and you're trying to say that I'm guilty of the things I'm accused of, and that I'm emotionally manipulating people.
I'm saying that you have said you emotionally...
If you are saying you have to fuck your employees, you have to make them fall in love with you to get the loyalty in order to make the money, tell me what that is if it isn't mass manipulation.
Emotionally manipulated people here for your own financial gain.
No, absolutely not.
It's not only about the criminal allegations. It's a much bigger issue. You've got children's organizations.
And keep in mind, you are in my home. You're not the boss here. Well, we tried to have you down to the studio, but your ankle bracelet kept beeping.
In the UK, you've got rape organisations in the UK, you've got the police naming you by name as someone who has a harmful influence on children and on women in the UK and elsewhere because of the things you say, because of the way you present gender relations, the way you say men should treat women?
That's very upsetting. And the reason that's very upsetting is because I know that's not true. I'm genuinely a good person. I believe my impact on the world is positive.
The reason we're asking you about these comments is because we've got the chief executive of Rape Crisis naming you individually as spreading a dangerous...
I mean, from his standpoint, what's really more at issue are the things that are really relevant to his case. The fact that he's Mr. Super Masculine dude and, you know, and telling you how to make money off the back of women, that's really kind of more the issue, not his reputation among any group.
Ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolute.
It's the comments you make that are leading people to say things like this.
Absolute garbage.
National organizations who are saying that are blaming you for increasing levels of misogyny. Schools that are saying they are having increased incidents of girls being attacked, of female...
Children, it's Andrew Tate Day. Grab your Andrew Tate lunchbox and let's misogynize the teacher. I just don't understand. I mean, this is exactly what you would get from an interview with the BBC. And not that I'm criticizing the BBC, but from his standpoint and his lawyer's standpoint, we've got trial in about 10 days. You know, what the hell are you doing? And I don't know what the heck he was thinking that somebody from the BBC would come and treat him with kid gloves. Of course they're not.
Female teachers being harassed.
If that was
by
true,
pupils because of you and your teaching and your influence.
That's absolute garbage. I have never, ever encouraged a student to attack a teacher, male or female, ever. I preach hard work, discipline. I'm an athlete. I preach anti-drug. I preach religion. I preach no alcohol. I preach no knife crime. Every single problem with modern society, I'm against.
But
I'm teaching young men to...
How about whoring out a bunch of women and manipulating them? Are you against that? No, that is how you make your money. And when you really think about it, you know, what he's talking about here is the line of work that he's made all this money about, buy all those Bugattis. Is that really in line with the tenets of Islam? I don't think so.
Men to be disciplined, to be diligent, to listen, to train, to work hard, to be exactly like me. And I'm saying that if men grew up like me, which are hardworking and diligent and some emotional control and stoic, we're going to have a better society, not a worse society. To sit here and say that schools in England, which is a failing...
Now, if Michael Rivers, our content genius, decided to go to Hustle University and become just like Andrew Tate, I'd have an issue with it. I don't think we need a world with everybody running around being like Andrew Tate.
It's a failing nation which has knife crime going through the roof, violence going through the roof, men's mental health going through the roof, and they're going to all blame me because I appeared on the internet 1 year ago.
You sell an image of success.
Disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
You
and
sell
also,
an image of financial success with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How?
I love that. I have a Bugatti and a cigar and a side order of misogyny. Any guy that's got a Bugatti, honestly, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Anybody that's got a Bugatti and a cigar is probably misogynist. I mean, there's a reason you have a Bugatti. I mean, a Bugatti, I don't have one, okay?
Here's the thing, Bruce Rivers. It's not my fault you can't answer the question.
What's the color of your Bugatti?
If you're going to ask me what color is my Bugatti, I don't have one, nor would I ever have one. They're millions of dollars, and God, I mean, the fucking brake job on that is like 25 grand or something like that. It's ridiculous per wheel. So you don't... Bugatti thing, the whole, you know, the money thing on the backs of vulnerable women. I mean, that's really, I mean, at least that's what he said. I mean, unless it's some other thing like some of the other text messages that we read to you from the judge's order where he uses this as a cover. For other criminal activity. And then the common thread there is if you look at, you got him making money off the backs of vulnerable women, and then this whole sad, low self-esteem, Hustle University clients that they, you know, these men who just look at him as a hero and they have this cult-like following. It's just so disgusting, honestly. But you're sitting there And everything he says is now fair game in this interview.
A Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny.
I am asking you about things that you have said that have caused major national organizations, including the police, to worry about you.
Who cares what these organizations say, honestly? What's really more interesting are the deep facts of the case. And I think it would have been nice if she had a little more in-depth knowledge of the facts of his case.
About you by name. That's what I'm asking you about.
It's not what I said.
It's about what you have said that has caused such concern in the UK. And I want to put it to you that you don't really care about the harm it causes.
That's not true.
Because
that's not true.
Making controversial statements like this online has made you a lot of money.
Okay, so first thing, I genuinely am a force for good in the world. You may not understand that yet, but you will eventually. And I genuinely believe I'm acting under the instruction of God to do good things, and I want to make the world a better place. I genuinely believe my legacy is a good legacy, and I believe that eventually, when the legacy media catches up, they're going to understand I'm a good, positive influence. I'm not interested in damaging the world for money, because if I was interested in damaging the world for money, I could have sold drugs.
But fighting wasn't paying the bills, sold drugs, whatever. So I'm selling drugs.
Or I could make rap music. And
They got my brother in the gang sipping in the house with me. We throw money, you throw shade, kicking down the door like police in a raid.
He did sell drugs, and he admitted to selling drugs when he was like in his 20s, because he wasn't making enough as a fighter. And you remember when he quit the fight game, he had $75 grand to his name, and then he was going to go buy a place in Thailand and whatever. And he decided to put everything into this business. And then he had to move from England to Romania because of the heat, because he thought I can manipulate things so much better in Romania. And look where he is, making all these great decisions.
and encourage everyone to stab each other like all the drill artists do.
Or you could make controversial statements online that attract a lot of followers who you then direct to your website where they pay to learn how to be like you.
I mean, I could make jokes online. Who doesn't? I mean, I could make a joke online.
Are you saying that all the controversial things you've said are jokes?
No, I'm saying that these organizations and the BBC who are going to sit here and pretend that I am the face of damaging the youth is absolutely garbage. It's completely disingenuous.
It makes you
and
money.
The reason, in fact, I've seen thousands and thousands of comments and have endless emails from women praising
Doesn't it worry you?
Praising the fact that their sons are listening to me.
Does it not worry?
Okay, women, if there are any women out there praising Andrew Tate for their sons listening, there's a better way. Build your life, build your education, build your relationships. Just build. I mean, why would any mother praise him for their son starting a webcam business? Does that make any sense to you? It doesn't.
Worry you. The things I'm saying does not worry you.
It would worry. It would worry.
And endemic in any demagogue or somebody like Andrew Tate, there's a grain of truth to some of the things that he says, like hard work, like diligence, like discipline. Absolutely. And I preach those things all day long. Be a force for good, But there's the whole flip side of this, where you have this really, really, really disrespectful attitude towards women. And it may not sound like it initially, but it sure does to me. And if you're a guy following his advice, if you're a guy following the tenets of a business based upon manipulation and exploitation of women, find something else to do, because it's a short-lived proposition.
Concerned about your influence.
It would worry me if I was genuinely damaging the world, but for you to sit here and say, Andrew, you've become the most Googled man in the world, you have billions of views, and one woman, is now saying that her husband is not the same man she wants him to be, when thousands and thousands of people are saying the opposite, well then I would say
I've presented you with case after case after case, with quote after quote after quote of people who are genuinely concerned about the impact you're having, and you brush it off as if it's nothing.
No, what you have done is come here with an agenda, you've come here with loaded questions, you've come here with things.
See, this is why these things are just whatever. I mean, it is a lesson in getting your name back out there. I think that's probably the only reason he's doing this. I just don't see the benefit, because it's just him attacking the media and the media attacking him. Instead of trying to substantively go through, okay, tell me where's your team at? This is what I would ask him. I would ask him, so how's it been going? Tell me about the legal process in Romania. Tell me, when do you start trial? Are there jurors? Are there, tell me all about how you're preparing. Have you done your own investigation? None of those questions. All this is just 100% character assassination. But the more interesting aspect is you're going to trial here pretty quick. Are you ready?
You come here with things taken out of context. You come here with things that you don't understand are satirical. And then you're going to also sit and say that one woman said that her boyfriend changed when he watched one of your videos. And then I don't know what you expect me to say to that.
Sarcastic, and jokes. No. That's how you explain the comments you make.
For you to sit down.
Would you like to apologize for any of them?
For you to sit down, for you to sit down, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's easy. For you to sit down and say that one woman said that her boyfriend watched an Andrew Tate.
I don't know who that was, but maybe that was one of his lawyers saying we should end the interview.
An Andrew Tate video, and now he won't do the dishes.
Schools.
Or whatever your argument is.
I guarantee you his lawyers are probably off camera just like